Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, December 6th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SEOroundtable.com. I'm sorry, I have no voice, I'm a little under the weather, and honestly I'm supposed to speak Tuesday night for about 45 minutes to an hour, I believe. Not sure how I'm going to do that, but anyway. The big news this morning is that Google has updated their PageRank values. We did not expect this. Google's backcloths implied that there wouldn't be a PageRank update the remainder of 2013. I thought it to be that there would be a PageRank update ever again. Obviously, I was wrong. And previously, the last PageRank update was sometime 10 plus months ago in February. We haven't had an update since then until today, this morning, December 6th. I talk about why PageRank is not that important so far, at least the toolbar, and why you guys shouldn't obsess about it. Anyway, there was a PageRank update. Talking about updates, I asked Bing to confirm this. They never responded to me. But basically, there's something going on with Bing search results, at least the past earlier this week. Specifically around Bing search, obviously updated their index, their rankings and changes. A lot of people are showing a lot of shifts in rankings over at Bing. Obviously, Bing doesn't account for much of webmasters and SEOs traffic, but there definitely is a notice of some type of update at the Bing search results. I did cover every month I do a recap of the most important topics over at Google, webmasters related topics, and I posted it yesterday. If you want to catch up on what happened over the past month with Google, webmaster related, definitely take a look at this post. There was a bunch of rumors about ranking updates, DNS bugs, smartphone crawler updates, and a lot of other things, so definitely take a look at this if you missed the past month or so in Google updates. Google, remember I talked about app indexing a month or so ago? So it was basically a way for you to actually include your content, so to give Google a data feed of your content that's found within your Android apps, and Google will then use that data to actually show in the search results. As of yesterday, Google has actually started to show app content with links directly to open up those apps in your site, in your app, for Android searches. So if you're on Android and you do a search, for example here, you'll be able to actually click on this little open link, open the app, and it'll open up the app directly to that piece of content in the search results. There's all this technical documentation on how to actually include your site, your app into Google app indexing. It doesn't mean you'll be included, but there's definitely a way to actually start giving Google your content if you want to do that. Google improved webmaster tools again by adding a smartphone specific crawl errors page. Now if you go to the crawl errors section, you can actually filter crawl errors specifically by smartphones. Obviously this is important as smartphones become more and more important, and as you can see, these are some of the errors that you might see in that report. Google's John Mueller went ahead and responded to a technical question regarding CCTLDs, country level top domains, and wildcard domains, and the likelihood of that being seen as doorway pages. So the example given here, I mean, if you are doing this, I'm not going to go through the detail, but if you are doing this, you definitely want to take a look at John Mueller's post. I have a recap of it on December 4th at SEOroundtable.com. Google's Matt Hunt released a video about content stitching. It's basically when you take snippets of content from dozens of different websites and just paste it on your website, making it look like a bunch of different content on your website, but none of it's original. Matt Hunt said it's a form of spam, it's not good, don't do it. Yahoo, he said, actually hated it. That's the words he used. That being said, there are good ways of taking content from other sites and sourcing them and summarizing them properly, like Wikipedia, he said, but don't do content stitching. Google also said, this is John Mueller, which is a good quote, "Our algorithms don't stand still, so you shouldn't stand still as a webmaster." He said this in response to somebody talking about fluctuations and stuff in their index, and he basically said, he basically said the algorithms don't stand still, and many use signals to review and determine the relevancy of pages and sites. Basically, don't keep your site stagnant, do something with it, make it useful, and keep improving it. Google Trends is a lot more sophisticated now. It's basically Google Trends on Hummingbird. If you go ahead and take a look, Now when you do a search in Google Trends, it will ask you, what are you searching about? So when you do a search for Danny Sullivan, it's not going to just say Danny Sullivan, the race car driver, and the search engine land editor. It will say, which one are you talking about? It knows the difference between Danny Sullivan as search engine land and Danny Sullivan, the race car driver. Same thing with Barry Schwartz. It gives you the option. Do you want to search the search term Barry Schwartz? Do you want to search for Barry Schwartz, the professor? And obviously I'm not in there, but the technologist would be me if it was there. So it's a pretty cool update to Google Trends. This is interesting. Google Knowledge Graph has updated to include car data. So now when you search the Google Knowledge Graph you search Google for a specific make, model car, it's going to show you this knowledge graph. Now if you look at it and they add a carousel, you can actually go ahead and see how the page is pushed down. You see very little results. Now even more so, if you search on your mobile device, all you see is a knowledge graph unless you scroll. And then if you search using Google Glass, you don't get search results, you just get the knowledge graph. Obviously this can have an impact on sites like Edmunds and Yahoo Autos and stuff like that. Google slipped up. You know that yellow ad format we've been seeing everywhere? This one over here. Google actually included it in a screenshot when they were actually talking about some other feature regarding Google Plus and Donors Choose and stuff like that. So they're slipping up and showing this ad format. I'm surprised it's not fully launched yet. Here's the one most people see, and here's the one people are starting to see. So you can see it should be live soon. I'm surprised Google hasn't announced it fully. Google AdWords added a new feature for undoing stuff. So now if you go to the change history screen, you'll see these undo buttons on the right hand side, which lets you undo the past changes that you made in the past 30 days. Google has added a Festivus poll. So if you do a search for Festivus, you'll get this cool poll on the left hand side. The thing is, supposedly this Festivus Easter egg has been around all year long. It's not something new for obviously the holiday seasons. Google had a special logo for Carlos Martin Finley, who was supposed to be global. It wasn't a global logo. It's a mosquito logo. It's basically the guy who discovered the yellow fever or did a lot of research on that topic. So that wasn't live fully, but it should have been. And Google had a logo for the 90th birthday of Maria Callas. I can't pronounce his name, but basically she was basically a diva. She one of the most well-renowned around 20th century opera singers. So they had a logo for her. And finally, and I say this with a sore voice, it was the 10th year anniversary of the Search Engine Roundtable, this blog, and this is where I first started writing about search topics. As you can see, I never stopped. Some highlights, I guess, is I've written about 18,000 articles since we launched. 15,000 of those I personally wrote. 18,000 of the ones on the site. So I wrote over about 83% of them. I wrote over 5,000 stories in Search Engine Land since 2006, and I wrote I don't know how many stories in Search Engine Watch when I was writing there. This year alone, I wrote about 1,700 stories. We had over 20,000 comments not marked as spam. So there's a lot of things going on. I posted about 50 or so videos this year, including not including this one, but this will be another video. Each one is about 10 minutes long, and so forth. So there's a lot of stuff. I have the yearly recap, what I think is the most important stuff going on. So if you want to catch up with the past year, not only do I go ahead and praise myself for writing for 10 years on search and not stopping literally, but I also talk about what was the most important things that happened this past year and what to maybe expect in the future in search. Anyway, thanks so much for watching every week. Sorry again for the sore voice, and I appreciate all the support over the past years or so. Everyone have a great weekend, and then hopefully next week I'll sound a little better. And everyone have a great weekend. This is the news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable. Today is Friday, December 6th, and I'll see you guys next week.